Welcome back to another video by Ghostly Gloom. Before we begin, I kindly request you to subscribe to Ghostly Gloom and hit the bell icon to receive more videos from us. After watching the video, please take a moment to like it and comment on how you felt while watching. Now, let's dive into the story. Okay, so this happened just a few days ago when I was on a road trip with my cousin. I'll be referring to him again as James like I have in past stories. For a quick reference, I'm 13 and female. James is 21. James and I were on a road trip from my grandmother's to my aunt's house. I have a great relationship with my cousin, so my parents let me go on trips with him occasionally. It's about a 10-hour drive and we were about 3 hours into the drive. It was about 9 p.m. at the time. I was pretty sleep deprived and everything was hilarious at that moment, so when I saw this red semi-truck outside my window I just laughed my ass off. The man in the truck was heavyset, that's an understatement, and had a long untamed beard. He had a creepy vibe, but I waved to them. He in turn did a groping motion to me. Finding it more hilarious than creepy, I started laughing harder and told James the story, doing the whole groping motion and all. He looked creeped out and disgusted, but there wasn't anything either of us could do. A while later, about 4.5 hours into our drive, James pulled into a rest stop. I walked into the bathroom and when I came out the man was just standing there. He looked to be 6 feet 0 inches at least. I looked out the glass door leading into the building and saw James, glaring daggers at the door. I was confused and walked back to the car. What he told me really creeped me out, so much so I started crying. Then again, I had been awake for around 20 hours. The man had stared and followed me inside to the building, mumbling shit about me. James said he was basically talking normally. He attempted to comfort me, but quickly said he had to go to the bathroom and went inside. A few seconds later, when I was in the car, the guy was at my window. He stared at me, a wide creepy grin. He started saying I should go with him and he was gonna treat me good. He offered me candy and just tried to coax me into his truck. I was busy bawling my eyes out. Then, right on cue, James walks out and yells at the guy and threatening him. The guy backed off and got into his truck. He still just stared at me, the grin still on his face. We floored it out of there. We wanted to get far from that guy. It was around 12 a.m. when we pulled to a motel to sleep. The rest of the night till 8 a.m. was fine. Nothing really happened. Sadly, that didn't last long. When we were at a restaurant, eating breakfast, the same fat shit sat across from us. He grinned at me and James just looked pissed off. The guy walked by the table when going to the bathroom and brushed his hand on my shoulder, doing the same on the way back. A quick note, James is a chill dude and will let most anything slide, but because he's known me since I was just a baby, he's protective over me. He's not like that to even my siblings, he and I are close. He was obviously pissed before, but at that point he stood up from his seat and walked over to the guy's table. He started yelling shit about he better stop following us and back off of me. He made no threats, but did curse a lot. I felt pretty nervous and just wanted to go. The guy stood up and smacked James and yelled how I was leading him on. The guy was about 6 feet 0 inches and James was 6 feet 8 inches. Their argument continued until the cops came and separated it. They got the story and came to the conclusion that because he was assaulted, we could press charges. He said no and we just continued the day. The rest of the trip was pretty bland. The guy wasn't seen for the rest of it. However, James did follow me like a bodyguard whenever we went anywhere. Even though he was protecting me, I was terrified. He looked scary as shit, but has a cinnamon roll,